And I think the biggest thing is that when I explain this to people, there is a lot of in the transition. And you can see it at the whoosh and everything is happening a lot later in the swing. So I think this is the most simple, easy, maybe $2 way. And then you can still release and hit a fade. Your path is left because of
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 정말 어려운 분을 제가 모셨습니다.
Hello, my name is John Montgomery. I'm originally from the United States, Florida to be exact. So I've been living in Korea for the past 4 months now. I really love it here. I love the passion that Korean golfers bring to the game. So I'm excited to share some of my passion with golf with you guys here today.
골프 다이제스트에서 21에서 26년까지 영 50에 계속 선정되셨던 분이에요. 지금 저희 한국인들이 너무 궁금해하는 게 많아요. 제일 궁금한 게 요즘에 클럽 헤드를 던져라, 던지지 마라 이런 말들이 좀 많은데 이거에 대해서 좀 어떻게 생각하고 설명해 주실 수 있는지 알려주시면 너무 감사하겠습니다.
I'm a big fan of throwing the club head. I truly believe it. I feel it in my swing. I think that the confusion comes because there are different points of the swing where you should throw the club, and it also changes based on the club. So this is a very dynamic thing that many people misunderstand, and it leads to a lot of confusion and bad shots. So very much throw the club head.
모든 클럽을 다 던져야 되는 건가요?
Every club, every golf swing, there is a throw. But for wedges or mid irons, long irons, driver, the throw happens at a different time in the swing. So if everybody tries to throw at the same point for all clubs, maybe some will work, but not the whole bag. First of all, the reason why it changes is that we want to have a launch angle or a predictable height. Really good players hit the ball through the same window. So driver and wedge can go through roughly the same window as far as the height of the golf ball. So because of that, you must be able to throw your driver a little bit earlier to add some loft, and then you have to de-loft an iron or a wedge in order to hit it lower, but all to get it through that same kind of window. So it's just different timing of when you do it. When you have a driver, the throw and the sequence happens a lot faster, and everything should be lining up at the golf ball. But when you have a wedge, if you want to get good distance out of your wedge, then that throw happens a lot later in the swing. Your body's going to turn a lot more, and then the throw happens a lot more after the golf ball. So that is the important concept. And I think that some people will say like, oh, I seen a video, like you should throw the club. And like that might be a good feel for a driver, you know, to throw it earlier. But if you do that with your wedge or with your iron, you're going to come in, you're going to be missing compression, no attack angle, so you're not going to get good distance or control of your irons if you do it that way too. So I think the biggest thing that you can leave with today is understanding what to do with each club, when to throw it with each club. In order to throw your pitching wedge at the right time, you should understand the trajectory that you're trying to hit it. So with a wedge and a shorter club, the throw happens a lot later in the swing. So first you must shift your body, turn your body, and reserve some of the angle with your arm and the club to be able to throw that a lot later in the swing. So I feel the release and the throw happens more out here with a short iron or a wedge. And that just makes sure that when you come down to impact position, your body is in front of the ball, your hands are in front of the golf ball, which creates the compression and lowers the ball flight a little bit so that you can get the distance that you're looking for out of your 9-iron. If you release the club a little early with your iron and you come into impact, the ball is going to launch a little too high, not have enough spin on it, so your distance is not going to be very far, and most likely your direction will be maybe a little bit to the right, is a common one whenever you see it, right? So they start to release a little early, and a lot of times that makes the club go a little outside in, and then you come into impact this way, kind of scoop it through. So high, short, and right miss is very common with a short iron. But at the same time, somebody who has this kind of naturally happening in their swing, it could be really good for their driver. So maybe they hit their driver okay, because this is a better impact position for a driver, but they struggle with their short irons. And I see this very commonly. Somebody is like, oh, I'm really good with my short iron, but my driver sucks.
It's me.
It's me.
It's me.
Or it's the opposite. They are really good with driver and their short iron sucks. So it's understanding, you know, when to throw, and maybe even what you do naturally is really important. So if you I think the problem is that people misdiagnose what their swing is. And sometimes there's a lot of good information on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. There's great information everywhere, but it doesn't all apply to maybe you. So people misdiagnose what their problem is, and then they apply the wrong things, and then there's just more confusion. So it's really important that you can diagnose properly what your natural swing tendency is, and then what you need to feel in order to create the right dynamic through impact.
그럼 아마추어는 이 릴리즈를 어떻게 연습해야 되나요?
You can practice your release timing. I think an easy way is audio feedback. So like swinging a stick, and you can listen to when the club releases. So if I grab a stick really quick, and this is just one of the most simple ways, and you can find stick anywhere, any practice facility. But you can listen to when the release is. The loudest part of the swing, the whoosh that you hear from the stick, happens whenever the stick is in straight line with your left arm. Okay, so when we take it back, we build an angle, and then when we release the club, you will hear, like if I release early, you can hear the whoosh more over here, right? And then if I want to release later, practicing for a short iron, I should feel and hear the release more out here. So you can go. And I think the biggest thing is that when I explain this to people, there is a lot of patience in the transition. So instead of like trying to hurry up and hit the ball, there is a lot more patience with allowing the body to shift and turn, hold that angle, and then release a lot more of that speed out there. So many people struggle with that one more, I would say. And you can see that the whoosh and everything is happening a lot later in the swing. So I think this is the most simple, easy, maybe $2 way, you know, to... Oh, very good. Yeah, the driver, or I mean, even iron too. I just really like the stick because it's more loud.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because it's very thin. Even with an iron or a driver, there's some whoosh, but this one's more loud, so I like that a little bit better. But same thing with an iron. I have the pitching wedge here, so getting the feel of the whoosh happening a little bit more out in front. And you can see in order to achieve that, I have to wait and turn and turn and turn until I release the club and throw it a lot more out here is the key.
또 궁금한 게 하나 더 생겼는데 이 릴리즈랑 체중 이동하는 것과에도 좀 연관성이 있나요?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I was saying before, it's so important that the body shifts first. So, in a good sequence, the body will shift, right? Which is pressure shift from the right foot to the left foot. So, you need to shift your body forward, then it rotates, and then the club releases. So, while that's happening, you are shifting pressure from right foot to left foot, and then you're pressing with your left foot, you're in the direction of your toes to help get your left hip to turn behind you. So that's where you're feeling the ground pressure, like using the ground to help move your body and move your hips faster.
그럼 드라이버는 어떻게 다른가요?
I think the difference is that the timing and the sequence, right? So with an iron, again, there's a lot more patience and the move happens a little bit slower. So you don't have to spike your ground forces and press into the ground as hard as you can when you're hitting a pitching wedge. You'll get really good distance out of your short irons and wedges by getting your body into the correct position, which is, you know, more in front of the ball. I like to feel it about 3/4 of my body in front of the golf ball, and then my hands are in front of impact like this, okay? So with the driver, the same sequence happens. With the driver, the same sequence happens, but it happens a lot faster. And the driver is more dynamic. So that's when we start to use the ground, and there's a little bit more spike of the ground forces to help get the release and get the club going. So with the driver, same thing. We're gonna shift our weight to our left foot, and then you're gonna start to rotate and straighten that left leg a bit, but that's all happening to get the club head to release a lot sooner. So it looks more like that. It's very quick. And then like that's the sequence. So there's no long, drawn, like slow motion of the body in order to hit the driver, because you will have too much de-loft of the driver. So then you'll hit your driver really low if you do it that way. So it just happens a lot quicker. To me, I grew up playing basketball. So to me, there's a move in basketball called a jab step, right? And to me, that is the feeling that I have with a driver. It's a very quick kind of juke move that you use in order to get that driver speed to really fire and fire at the right time. Ooh, driver feels pretty good. Oh, not bad. Oh, 8 degrees.
Yeah, 8
미쳤어. I play 10 and a half. 8 degrees. What are we doing here? That's why that went so low. Okay.
Oh yeah. Is it sequence means tempo? Almost similar?
Almost similar. Yeah, very similar. Very similar
So
feeling.
tempo is different, driver.
Tempo is very different. Yeah. With the wedge in my hand, there's no need to spike my ground forces to try to get all the energy through my body and into the club because I want it to happen at the right time. Okay, so with a iron or a wedge, again, it's going to be a lot slower, and I'm more about putting my body in the correct position and my hands in the correct position. So it'll look more like this. There we go.
Beautiful draw.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. So how about middle iron?
So with middle iron, again, this is where the practice becomes important to understand the difference of both. And now we're somewhere in the middle, right? So I don't need a quick sequence with a middle iron, but I also don't want to drive too far forward or else I'll hit my middle iron very low. So it's somewhere in between. And to me, the middle iron feels like it releases more like just past the golf ball here. Where with a short iron or a wedge, I feel it releasing out here. And then with the driver, I feel it releasing a little bit more, like back here. So with that middle iron, I feel that release just after impact. Should be good. Yeah, I like that one.
사람들이 릴리즈라고 하는 거를 손목으로 해야 되나? 팔로 해야 되나? 이런 궁금증이 생길 것 같아요. 릴리즈를 어떻게 하나요?
Yes, so first of all, I think the simplest way to explain, there is 3 different releases that are happening in the swing. There is the vertical release, which is the hinging and unhinging of the swing, okay, of the wrist. Okay, there is a horizontal release, which you can feel with your forearms rotating like this. And then there is a twisting release that can happen with your hands like this, okay? In general, you don't want too much of this, okay? And I'll tell you where it does come in handy is with a wedge or short iron. A lot of times when people go to have shaft lean and have their hands in front, a lot of times the face is still a little too open, okay? So then that's whenever there's a little bit more twist that needs to happen in order to square the face up. So there is some twist, and it all depends on your grip and your release, you know, how you're releasing the club. But all 3 of those are happening, and I think the best way to feel it is to learn the tabletop swing. So what I mean by that is if you imagine that your club and your arms are on a flat table, and you have to slide your arms in the club across the table, you will feel all 3 of those releases. And I think this is a nice general way to understand how to feel and get the club to release properly. If somebody can't do this, a lot of times you'll see, you know, different motion where they can't quite understand how to get it to move really flat. And then can you do that with some speed to it also? Okay, and then the golf swing is just a tilted plane. So we're not here when we swing and we hit a ball. We're down here, but we have very much the same sensation as that we're going to roll those hands over. So when you do that with a ball, the idea is that you really don't want to have to think about it too much. You should be able to look, see the shot you want to hit, and then you've trained your hands and your wrist to release, you know, at the right time so that you can get the shot that you're looking for. So for me, I like to hit a draw. So a little bit more release with my hands, and I slow my body down a little bit to help get more release. So I don't rotate my hips as far open. I like to get them just slightly open, and then I feel my hands throw. And this helps me swing more inside to out with the club face, you know, close to the path so that I can hit a draw. But if you want to hit a fade, then you would need to rotate your body more open and then delay that release just a little bit longer so that you can get the path more left. And then you can still release and hit a fade. Your path is left because of your body turn.
아, 정말 충격적인 게 유튜브에서 이 어깨 회전으로 페이드랑 드로우를 만든다고 하더라고요. 이게 정말 같은 말인 것 같아요.
Yes, yeah, very much so. Very much so. Same concept. There's like, to me, to break it down, there's a ratio of body turn and release. The more body turn you have, or the faster the body turn, if you want to hit it straight, they have to match. So I think of them as like a dial, like a stereo dial. If I'm going to turn up my body turn and I want to hit it harder with my hips, then I have to also turn up my hands. And if the balance isn't proper, then you can have, different shots that you don't want. So if I swing hard with my hips, but I don't release it hard, then a lot of times you get a push fade. My release timing was not correct. I left the face open. And you get a push fade. And then also, if you come in and you're so focused on the release because you watch this video and you forget to turn your body, then you're going to hit more of a pull draw because your body stops too fast, and then your hands take over, and then you get more of that pull draw that happens. So it's really about feeling the timing and the sequence together. Can you get your body to a position to where the hips are slightly turned past the ball, your chest is slightly turned past the ball, your hands are slightly past the ball, and then you can release the club.
그러면 아마추어가 드라이버랑 미드아이언이랑 숏아이언을 연습할 때 가장 메인으로 생각하는 게 그런 릴리즈 타이밍을 생각하면서 연습하면 더 좋겠네요.
Yeah, they try to do the same release timing, same body timing with every club. And again, it will work with maybe 8-iron, but all the other ones will be off if you don't understand this small adjustment that you need to make. Every club is different length with different loft. So unfortunately, it makes it a little complicated, but I think if you understand and you're aware, then it makes it a little bit easier to handle. If you practice this and you work on the release timing, then you will feel like more freedom on the golf course. You won't have to hold on to the club. You will gain more confidence on the golf course in being able to know when to release the club. So the next time you go practice, if you work on this, you listen for the whoosh at the right time with the right club, you will change your experience, especially on the golf course. Being able to whoosh that club through the golf ball gives you that confidence to hit the golf shot that you need to get the distance that you need to on the course. And that's when this is so important. So understand when to whoosh the club, practice that and rehearse that by you can just take your club upside down. And remember, short iron, you want it to whoosh all the way out here. With a mid iron, you want it to whoosh just past the golf ball. And with your driver, you want to feel the whoosh right around your trail leg or your trail side. So if you practice that with each club and then do it, you will definitely feel and see the results.
Thank you so much.
So when you look at a tour pro or somebody with a very efficient golf swing, it always has a beautiful, and the ball just whoosh, shoots off the face. They think, okay, I'm gonna hit my driver as hard as possible, or I'm gonna hit this iron as hard as possible. You can see the veins in their forearms starting to hold up, and then they keep all of that through the golf ball, and you feel like you're swinging hard, but it's actually not transferring to the club. So being able to practice these drills that I'm gonna show you is really gonna help you unlock some of that tension and get the speed to the club head where we need it at.